And we are back from our break. The party has docked with an asteroid ship, and these short, 3-foot tall, stocky figures have come out. Leading the way is one that is better dressed than the others. You also see that in the back are some wielding crossbows, but rather than firing crossbow bolts, these crossbows clearly fire something else. Like, you do not see quivers of bolts or anything like that. And the construction of these crossbows is somewhat different.
No.
They're not aimed at you right now, but they are, like, the figures are clearly ready for trouble in case something happens. But the lead figure steps forward and gives you a slight head bow in greeting, and then begins speaking in common, but there are definitely some differences. It takes you a bit to wrap your head around it, and he does have a thick accent. It's not clearly not used to speaking the language. Braxon, yes?
Does Braxon's ring work with the common being unusual?
No, because it's a language you know. You just have to like a lot of it's more about their pronunciation is just different than you
Right.
expect, kind of thing.
Like, same language, different part of the country.
Yeah, it's more accent related. I mean, there's some dialectical differences too, but it just takes you a bit of concentration to adjust to how they're speaking and get used to it and know what they're saying.
Okay.
And the figure, after giving you the slight head bow, says, "Welcome to Vadspace. You are strangers here, but you are lucky that our great god has informed us of your arrival. We were there in time to save you from the scourge that has been affecting this sphere for some time now. Please, who are you? Our god did not reveal that."
Thank you. Thank you for your assistance in our time of need. We are the Company of the Broken Sword. We are a group that got lost from our home, and we're trying to find our way back to our home. My name is Braxon Miacc. I'm the captain of the ship, and my officers will all introduce themselves.
Car, first mate.
Lafdul. Ship scout. Jam cutter. General. Gets his hands on many things. Jack of all trades in a way.
Solas would also be here and introduce himself.
Finnel'ar Mohani, ship's Druid.
Levalithana, an elven wild mage.
You'd probably introduce yourself as ship's mage.
Okay, ship's mage.
And Solas would probably introduce himself as ship's priest.
Also, Leva is marveling that there are people around who are shorter than she is.
Well, I mean, dwarves are shorter than you
dwarves.
too.
Halflings, gnomes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we got dwarves. And Braxon's quite short.
Yeah, I mean, elves are generally quite short. I'm only 4'11", so...
Mind you, Leva, you would guess that the figure speaking in front of you might weigh significantly more than you. Is very, very broad. Yeah. It's very, very broad.
Well, yeah, came here looking for passage through the sphere, trying to find a specific path that should take us to Brawl Space, where we're from.
And our captain forgot to mention that we were caught in a cosmic storm. That's why we ended up here. Well, that's
Wow.
why we ended up where we did.
Chthon space. The goblinoids come from are aware of them.
Yeah, I'm getting some fan noise.
James.
Ockar,
Sorry.
it's okay. At each of your introductions, the figure nods, and when you're done, he says, "I am Norav, captain of the hauler. Our great god said that you would be arriving, and you would be able to assist us in facing this scourge. It is a great prophecy and a great honor that he has spoken of you."
How long has this prophecy been part of your custom for? Is this a recent thing?
Oh, the priests mentioned that you would be arriving, So, he uses a number that doesn't quite, register to you, but when he sees your kind of blank expressions, let me see.
How did you spell the name of the crystal sphere?
It's
I
in
didn't
the
quite
roll
catch
It's in the
It's
roll
in the
20.
chat. Right. I'll go grab the chat.
So Vadspace. VAD.
He says after that number that you're not sure about, he says, "Ah, yes. The days that you use are different than ours. In your numbers, it would have been about 40 days ago."
Relatively recent then. I think you said you had a bit of a breakthrough recently. You're praying though, Braxon. Aren't one in the same religion, are you?
I've been praying for Patar to show me guidance. Maybe Patar has been in contact with their deity.
Hey, Ald.
Yeah?
Finn would be trying to do the math in his head. How many days ago was it we spoke to the fall?
A lot more than that. You were in the Phlogiston for 63 days.
Okay.
And then
it's
another
like
20 days coming through
a
here.
lot longer.
So
We did
yeah,
another job.
you're looking at
Multiple months.
4 months probably.
Well, we're looking for a specific passage out of this sphere. Would you be willing to tell us how we could find a certain location we're looking for if we help you out?
Indeed, indeed. Our great god did not reveal why you would be coming for your own reasons, but did reveal that you would be ones with the power to help us fight off this scourge.
Well, yes, we have helped many people in the past.
He waves to one of the figures behind him, who steps forward with a rolled star chart, and he says, and another one steps forward with a very stout folding table, and he says, "If you wouldn't mind, may I lay this out?"
I'd like to Braxon.
Yes, please.
All right. So one of the humanoids behind him brings forward the table, quickly unfolds it, placing it there, and the other one holding the rolled star chart unrolls it, and you quickly realize that it is a star chart of this sphere that you're in, Vadspace.
With us. Is Glau with us?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Glau would
that's
be perched on a railing, watching everything. As the star chart unrolls, he'd flutter up to perch on in the mast above, looking down. This figure doesn't seem to pay him any mind as he does so. But he steps forward and says, "You see before you, Vadspace. We colonized this, finding it uninhabited, by your reckoning, some centuries back. Our great empire has spread into many places, but we've encountered some of your folk. I can see that you do not recognize my kind. Is that correct?
Yeah, I don't think any of us have ever seen one such
If
as
any
you
of us
before.
even heard of them.
No, I
Well,
don't.
he hasn't given you their name yet.
I don't
Oh.
recall any people of your type.
Maybe a name might help us.
After that, after you're giving your negative responses, Glau will. They are Gravs. I have seen one of their ships some time back. I believe it was just a scout ship looking for new places to mine. I did not get an opportunity to interact with them, but they are known as Gravs.
Hmm.
That is the term there in the handout. And Braxon, give me an intelligence check, please.
Mm-hmm.
Do you want to spin a reroll on this, or are you good?
Oh,
Yeah, spend a reroll every interaction you get.
I mean, I'm always happy for you guys to spend rerolls.
So Ockar has no faith in our captain.
So with a 3, that is good. Braxon, that sounds familiar. You do remember a story some years back when you were in a tavern back on Brawl, having a drink with some members of the crew at that time, not members of the crew now. And
Yeah.
one of them does mention encountering a creature that called themselves that. But that's about it. So what you can conclude from that is that their known space, whatever that is, overlaps very slightly with your known space. Much like, the Illithids have their own sphere of influence, and that overlaps somewhat with what yours is, kind of thing. And you certainly don't know all the spheres that the Elven Imperial Navy considers part of their patrol routes and everything like that. So they're definitely out there, and they've had some contact. They're not completely unknown, but if they've made it to Brawl, it's not in any numbers, and didn't make any big splash or anything like that. The figure Norav looks up strangely at Glau, but doesn't seem to doesn't do anything about it, and then looks back to you and nods and says, "Indeed, we are the Gravs. We are much like your dwarves in some ways." He says that in such a way that you can tell that he doesn't like that comparison, but it's like it's a comparison that kind of works for humans. It's like, your people. It's like when you tell, rather than doing this big lengthy explanation, it's just like, oh, fine, we're like dwarves, kind of thing.
I mean, we're aware of pecs.
But unless you bring that up, so
Yeah, no, I'd mention it.
he doesn't seem to
Yeah.
recognize that. He says, "We are miners and builders. That is what we like to do. That is what we do. That is what we live for. That is what our great God has directed us to do. Unfortunately, this sphere, which had many opportunities for mining, has come under attack by those things that you saw before. Exactly what they are, we don't know, but they seem hostile to, well, us and you. They do not appreciate that others are should have an existence out in space. I know little about them, but they have numbers that we don't, and power that we don't. And unfortunately, we have been fighting a losing battle in this sphere. Do you guys have any questions about what he's said so far? He'll give you an opportunity to pipe up and ask anything.
What's the name of their god that they venerate? Does it have a name, rather? He, she, it.
Our great god, we do not usually use a name, but I believe your people have come to call him Apogee.
Any of us know that?
Nope. None of you have ever heard of it. We know that these other creatures follow a deity as well. They seem to have some sort of holy directive, but it seems wholly incompatible with the directive of our god.
Yeah.
As you have probably noticed.
Yeah, we tried to negotiate with them, and they were just like, "Oh, you have to be our prisoners."
Indeed, that has been our experience as well.
Yeah.
We would have been happy to share some of the space in this sphere with them, provided that they respected our customs, but they had no interest in doing so. Unfortunately, while their ships are small and fragile, there are many, and we have not had the... We are not a warrior race. We are miners. We work. We do not fight if we can help it.
I wonder if there's anyone we can talk to in their group that will persuade them to come to peace with you rather than attack.
I have a feeling we won't be able to persuade them. This seems like
They're
a domineering empire of sorts.
Probably a warrior culture.
Our best bet would probably be to try to force them out of the sphere.
Yeah, well, I think we could take out individual ships. It's just if there's many of them.
Yeah.
Near as we can tell, they do not see other creatures other than themselves as being equals. All others are lesser and thus should be treated that way. Never mind the fact that they have such spindly little limbs, unlike our good solid limbs that can withstand great pressure. They can be crushed by simple tools. You see, one of the grabs behind kind of like has a big rock hammer and kind of hits it against its fist and nodding along with that.
Braxon's going to refer back to the star chart and say, could you indicate to us what sort of regions they're in?
Well, unfortunately, they have spread considerably far. The only place that we have been able to secure, by pulling back as much as we could before as they were conquering, is our world here. And I need to do something else, because the name isn't going to show up.
Yeah. Braxon's going to have to ask him all the names.
So he points to a mark on the chart indicating the smaller of the two largest asteroids or worlds in the asteroid belt. And he says, yeah, that one. And he says, that is Orvan. It was our capital. It was the first world we settled. It is a good world with good mines, but not particularly large. I got some clicks there for someone. It seems to have stopped. They have unfortunately completely overrun Bavalna, which he points to the other one. Considerably larger and considerably more filled with resources. Unfortunately, that also meant that our ships were stretched quite thin in defense of it. being completely unprepared for the fanatical attacks of these creatures. As I mentioned, this sphere was completely uninhabited when we arrived, although there are ruins of some ancient civilization that we know very little about.
Oh, I'd be interested in investigating that, no doubt, if we can.
Yeah.
I would like to ask that you accompany us to Orvan and speak with our leader.
Yes. Yes, we'd very much like to do that. We should examine the some of these ancient ruins. It's possible that they might be connected to them. That might make them think that they own the place.
It is possible, though unlikely. We have not been able to explore them in great depth, in part because they have strong defenses left over from whoever lived here before us, but also they are not mines. They have little of general interest other than to a handful of our people.
It's possible the bugs just want to dominate the place and add to their own empire.
That
Take
is
slaves as they can.
that is indeed what we suspect.
Because they clearly wanted to try to enslave us when we showed up, and when we resisted, they just decided to attack.
That was our initial meetings with them as well, so far as we can tell. He points to the planet that you're at right now. Just so as you're aware, that is Delov. It is a frigid and hostile planet. We have not been able to do any mining, but we are able to get water from the ring out here when we need it. He gives a general wave to the ring that you can see off the side of the deck.
Yeah, we've been doing that.
Is there any name for Delov's ring?
No, we never did name it. It is just a ring. He kind of looks at you as if, like the fact that you're asking that is just odd. It never even occurred to him that anyone would name a ring. He does give a quick rundown of the other planets.
Yes,
Give me just a second. I will go ahead and show them up on...
the names magically appear.
Is it just these 3 planets in this?
No, there's some interior, some planets on the interior rings as
Yeah.
well.
There's 3 outer planets and 2 inner planets. And the sun.
Yeah.
Oh. Let's see it. I got Orvan right. But Balvania I got wrong.
Bavalna.
Valna.
And the asteroid belt itself is just called Valna's Belt.
Valna's belt. So, same thing.
Yeah.
James, you're clicking.
What do you mean?
I don't know, I'm getting some kind of clicking occasionally.
Oh, that's me turning the mic off and on, I guess.
Oh, okay.
And the sun is Vad.
Elmov.
Maybe taking out their queen would make them back off?
So, you do notice that the star chart that he has shown you does have constellations,
Mm-hmm.
and you do see that there is one that they have labeled the Pick.
Yay.
That was something we needed.
Can we mark that?
Well, you don't have your star chart.
Should we invite them to our astrolabe room? I mean, we seem to be on friendly terms. I don't see any harm in us.
That inner planet, Ord, does it end in S or is it SH?
Let me.
It's SH.
It
Yeah.
seems to be going over the sun.
Yeah, it's just because when a token is in front of another, it'll cover up even the name. It is SH.
Yeah, thanks.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'd already made a little sheet for the crystal sphere.
I was thinking if we invite them into our astrolabe, that'll give us a chance for us to update the pick note, add it to our own star charts.
Yeah.
So they've asked them whether they actually a hive. The others, sort of a
They're
hive.
hive
What would you call them? People
Yes, hive mind,
with
literally.
one queen and the rest working for this one queen. Because when we met them, they wanted to take us to the queen.
The grav in front of you, Norav, seems confused by what you're asking, and then when you mention the queen, he dawning comes over him and he shakes his head. No, their queen is their god, their deity. That is what they call it. The wise queen, apparently.
Does she exist, or is she just in their imagination?
Wow.
Well, all gods exist.
Yeah, Braxon.
Yeah.
Again, is looking at you kind of strangely, like you
She's
never even
like our
considered.
non-religious member of our group.
Braxton gives Deborah a sideways glance.
Well, what's wrong with this?
I know what faction Leva would be a member of in Planescape.
Yeah.
What?
The
Which
Athar.
Mm.
You definitely have to. We might find out. We'll all die and end up in the Planescape setting. We'll find a plane jamming device.
So, Norav asks again, will you accompany us to
Oh yes, yes, of
Orva?
course.
Will there be opportunity to trade with you? We also need to replenish our food supplies at some point. We've been traveling for several months.
We can assist you with food, yes. If you need mining tools, we also have wonderful, high-quality pieces of equipment. But you don't seem the type. Although a couple of the dwarves were like, hey!
We have a few crew that'd be interested in that kind of equipment. Do you trade in unusual alloys? Or more? Actually, no, they wouldn't know about. Actually, no, I'll put it out there. Do they know about mithril or adamantine?
We come across such in our minings occasionally, indeed.
trade
We
in
may have
such?
some for sale.
Oh,
You can use your coinage. We use that when we encounter your kind again. We have little need for it ourselves.
We have various assortments of things that you may be interested in for trade. When obviously the relevant people.
Braxton's going to say, well, while we're here, he's going to point off towards the asteroid belt. Would you like any? Would you like some ice towed back to your people?
We have already collected some. So you're tied up next to this. Give me another carpentry check, because now you're in the same hex. You're right next to this thing. You might have a better idea. And I'm gonna apply a bonus to this. So go ahead.
Okay.
15 is your score, isn't it?
Oh, well, hang on. 1 second. 1 second.
Telling me you don't know your score off the top of your head?
Of course I do. I'm just. This is rules. My score is 16.
Okay. You have no idea how this ship is moving because it's over 100 tons.
Right.
Hmm.
Well, dwarven citadels can move.
Yeah.
So.
And
so
maybe they have something like that. This is not as large as a typical dwarven citadel. Let me rephrase. This is not as large as the smallest dwarven citadel you've heard of or seen. Occasionally, dwarven citadels would dock at Brawl or at your asteroid for trade and food.
Does Braxon know what a serious major helm is?
No.
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
All right. The Grav captain says, "We should not dawdle here too long. It is entirely possible that the spider creatures will send some ships this way. They have an active patrol along the outer shell of this sphere, passing by all the known portals. They have many, many ships that quickly catch up to each other. And you saw what happened when they dock together.
Yes, it's an interesting technique.
It ends up being slow, but if you let them get too many at once, which is very easy to do unless you just flee, they are incredibly powerful. We lucked out that we arrived when we did. If we had arrived much later, I do not think we would have stood much chance other than fleeing right away."
Well, we're glad you arrived when you did.
Indeed, that was but 2 of their vessels. I have seen one of our other vessels be taken down when 15 of them combined into one large vessel.
Oh. 15.
So it would appear we need to find another way to defeat them or get them to be peaceful with you.
Well, peace isn't an option when they have technological and
Yeah.
numerical superiority over us.
I'm just thinking that brute strength isn't the way. Is there anything we need to learn before we arrive at your planet? Would you like to leave a representative with us?
An exchange of cultures, customs.
Our god has indicated that you will help us, so I see no reason to do so.
Okay. Shall we head off then?
Yeah.
Unless anyone's got any questions.
Yes, Lev, I would like to know how they and the Graph and the others are with magic. We didn't see anyone use magic.
Well, if they're religious, they've got priestly magic at the very least.
We indeed do know of magic. We have wizards and we have priests,
Oh.
much as your kind does.
And what about these insects?
So far as I know, they only have priests. They are their leaders.
Oh, okay. That's good information to have. Thank you.
Yeah, it gives a brief nod. Anyone else have any questions?
Obviously, where we would be porting landmasses, like locations, or would we be greeted from outer space or escort?
We will escort you down. We have some facilities that we have set up that should be suitable to your ship.
Oh, a dry dock.
Or water berthing.
No, our ship doesn't land in water.
Doesn't it? Oh.
No, it would require a dry dock, otherwise it crashes.
Yeah, your ship is not watertight.
Yeah.
The shuttle is, but the and also the Battle Dolphin is very, very top heavy in that regard.
Yeah.
It would capsize. Alright, and he says, if there are no further questions, we should get underway before any more of these creatures arrive.
Yeah, an excellent idea.
So they pack up the. He rolls up. Well, one of the other Gravs rolls up the star chart, and a third one folds up the table again, and they all move back to their ship. Yep.
While they're packing up, Braxon's going to say, "Are there any of them in the asteroid belt that Orvan's in? The belt of Valna?"
The spider creatures?
Yeah. We likely to get attacked on the way there.
They have completely occupied Bavauna, unfortunately. But
Right.
they have most of our other fiefs have evacuated back to Orvan. They
Right.
may be on some of them, and they do have some patrols, but Orvan itself is as well protected as we can make it. And we have sent messages back home asking for assistance, but it will take quite some time to get an armada together and
Yes.
brought here. In the meantime, just more and more of those creatures come in from their own sphere.
Guess it's a race to see who can claim the sphere first,
Yeah.
essentially.
Right. Should we be off then?
Okay.
Braxton's going to get his spyglass out when we go back on deck.
Could we all go to the our own astrolabe and make references to that pit constellation of where we think it was?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think the astrolabe shows constellations.
No, but
It doesn't. No, but you
probably
can make a mark
got-
on your star chart where you think the
Yeah.
head of the pick
should
was.
be.
Yeah. So that's the way we go when we solve the problem.
Okay.
Right. I think we should just get going then.
Based on your calculations, it'll take about 16 days to get to Orvan.
Okay.
All right. So you can go ahead and move the ship.
Doing more gem cutting.
All right. So Lafdul, you can
Lever have done the
Yeah.
finishing up of everything as well.
do that in a moment.
Alright.
All right.
21.
21 more. Let me go ahead and mark that down.
Should probably make up a running time. I need 169.
Okay. And Leva, you finish up that 100 gold.
Oh, only 100.
Gosh, I should have taken mine last.
You know I would have rolled a 4 for that.
I guess it doesn't work.
Yep. You cannot.
There's an irony there.
Lafdul, I'm afraid it's your influence. It's just, yeah.
I didn't even say anything this time.
No, but I did this for you, you know. I just spent 7 days. Can I sit down and not set in 7 days and try then?
No, because what this indicates is that you do not have the resources in your library to research the command word. You'll need to find another
Okay,
way, or
awesome.
wait until you
How
get
much does that cost? 100.
100.
Sorry.
Yeah.
I might not.
Sorry, Lafdul. I tried.
Sad face.
Leva, give me an intelligence check.
20.
Psst.
You failed my rolls.
Just a second. Oh, gosh, where are you looking?
Just roll a d20.
Yes,
got 18,
it's. I was looking for saving throws.
The save versus Lafdul.
Oh, look at
Ah, see. Oh,
Okay. All right.
Oh my god.
So yeah, unfortunately, you go to Lafdul and say, "Sorry, the library doesn't have the resources to reveal that the command word."
Mm-hmm.
gives her a suspicious look.
Maybe
No,
they have
Lemo
to-
looks really sad. She looks really, really
Oh, that
sad.
only cost you 100 gold as well while you're at it, you know.
It'll cost
It
you
doesn't
100
cost
gold.
Lemo anything.
I
It
know.
cost her 7 days.
maybe they have some big stone books on Orlav.
Or Van.
Orvan, sorry. Orlav's a different place.
She just is having a bad day today, you know? It happens.
Well, it wasn't even about a bad day. It was just you don't have the resources in your library to reveal that command word.
Yeah, and she didn't have any rerolls and nobody offered, so
Yeah.
that's it.
All right. Lafdul, you got the gems cut. Leva finished up that research. Finn, were you doing anything?
Nope.
Okay. Ockar, Braxon, you guys doing anything, or are you doing the same?
Doing the
Braxon.
same, basically.
Braxon is going to scan the asteroids in this belt and see what he can make out of them. Whether he can work out if they're all rock or whether there's a mixture.
You will have to get closer.
Okay.
Orvan and Vivalna are clearly large enough to, and like you can see Vivalna from where you are. That is clearly a let's see, So that is a spherical body, and given the coloration, it pretty clearly has like just, the words are just out of my head. Clearly has water on it.
Water, right,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, I was wondering about the other asteroids. I'm trying to figure out whether they might all be full up with these things.
It's hard to tell at this point. Based on what the grav told you, some of them could have been colonized, like had been colonized, and they evacuated them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
All right. So you can go ahead
So they
and.
can't-
I'm sorry.
They can't be that big if they've evacuated them.
Well, they can still be fairly large. Like again,
Yeah,
think
yeah,
about the
yeah.
size of the ship that you were just docked next to. Going from any one of those to Orvan, you can pack that ship in with like literally hundreds of individuals. You don't need to worry
Okay.
about, as long as you got enough food for a couple-week trip, you're fine.
I guess Braxon will be looking around more once we reach the belt.
Yeah.
So you can either go into this block or this block. This block would allow you to get a closer look at the asteroids. Otherwise, you'll have to wait until you're in that block.
If we go through the block with the asteroids in, is it going to take us extra time?
No.
But it might mean we get encounters.
It might.
Let's put it through a vote. Who wants random encounters?
That's not the question. The question is, Leva wants to see the asteroids, so she votes for that.
Well,
Yeah,
you'll
I'll put-
see the asteroids when you get here, because this block doesn't just have this one asteroid. It's it's just that's the only thing showing there because that's just easier to show,
Okay,
so you
then.
know where to go.
All right, let's go the other way then. I say
The other way being?
here
Slightly off.
and then there. Same amount of time. You want to go there?
You didn't let the people vote. You called for a
Yeah, I
vote,
was
but then you
thinking-
Well,
didn't
no,
wait.
he was giving his vote.
I changed my
okay.
vote.
Yeah.
So, Ockar?
I'm good with it.
Well, which way do you want to go?
Well, Orvon, right? That's where we're going?
Right, but do you want to go through this block, or do you want to go over to this block and risk random encounters?
Let's just go through that block or whatever.
Okay.
Whatever.
Avoid the random encounters. It doesn't go for the random encounters.
Okay.
Right. He wants to
Lafdul?
say-
Probably avoid. Probably safer that way. So around.
All right. Finn?
Save.
Finn would say go around.
Phew.
I guess we're going around then.
Oh, he does actually have spare crew, so. Wow, a place to replace a crew.
She's a wild mage. I guess she likes unexpected things.
Okay.
Right.
Yes, that's one thing. And don't forget, we get loot.
We
Yeah,
do
it's
get
very predictable whenever something involves laughter, it just goes wrong.
That seems to be the case for like half our crew.
And a question?
Yep.
Going out around the other way doesn't actually mean we certainly get no random encounters, correct?
No, it doesn't guarantee it. But there is a lower chance of
That's
random
nice.
encounters in an
See?
empty. There's a lower chance of random encounters in an empty block compared to a block with a planet or something like that in it.
Yeah, that's fine.
So let's see that. Leva, you would have had another opportunity to research a command word on something else by now.
Oh, Finn wanted
Does anyone want to have a command word researched?
maybe.
Finn had an object, didn't you?
Not now.
Oh, didn't you want to do that genie thing?
Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't
but-
hurt to confirm it, I guess.
Okay.
Maybe Lever can find out the magic word that makes Braxon's special mug work.
What? What special luck?
It just tells the
He's-
temperature.
His mug that makes some things hot and other things cold.
It's
Alright,
called
so it-
thermos. That's the command word. It's called thermos.
So it took it cost 400 gold. And go ahead and roll the Chancellor.
Listen up. This.
Yeah, you have confirmed that the word written on the ring is the command word.
Oh, everything apart from Lafdul.
Yes, everything apart from laughter. That's our.
It's a
how would
poetic
you
justice
say?
for you.
That's because luck doesn't like Lafdul at the moment.
Maybe Lever should have worn that luck amulet.
Maybe.
That
that
would
have
not have
worked?
helped there because that's not luck. Like,
Lafdul
just
thinks
because
he's
you're
very
rolling
unlucky.
dice and stuff like that to see if it works doesn't mean that within the game world luck is actually involved.
He's got access to unluck spy, I think you've got.
Okay.
Maybe Lafdul should get someone that doesn't believe his deity doesn't exist to do his work for him. Well, at least Braxon believes that Lafdul's deity exists.
So you want to do the identification next time?
Oh, I could give it a go.
All right,
Feel
Lafdul,
free.
go ahead and roll for gem cutting.
Be close to the last slot I need to do, which is
Might take me a bit
convenient
longer.
considering how close we are. Oh yeah. Which took me
29.
a while. Yeah, that takes me over.
So you got them all done?
Yeah, over by 5.
Alright.
5 gems over, but yeah.
Well, the last number was a 10, so you would have only had a half day on the last one. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Brax could finish the book he's reading, do some praying,
Okay.
see if his deity gives him any information for Lafdul.
So that was 169. All right. Finn, are you doing anything else on those 4 days?
Just tending to plants as always.
All right. Braxon, Ockar, anything that you're doing?
Not really.
Braxon had a book from the library. He's going to try and finish it
Okay.
and then put it back.
All right. Okay. So you can move the next 4 days and get to Orvan.
Okay. Are we meeting them in orbit over the North Pole of Orvan?
Well, let's see what happens. What people do in those 4 days. Braxon, Ockar, anything in particular that you're doing for those 4 days?
Nothing that I wasn't already doing.
Okay. Finn.
Nope, nothing special.
Okay.
Oh,
Leva.
Leva is reading a book. Question.
Mhm.
Does Solas read the book about bone golems? Would Leva need to read it as well to get the same knowledge?
You know what it is. It's basically an instruction manual for creating a golem. So anything other than that, Solas could share with you. So no, you don't need to, unless you're actually trying to make one of those golems.
No, she's not. Not at the moment, at least.
right. You can.
So she will read the book. Is that actually a book to study the studies of on the cursed spirits?
It's a non-magical book on magic. I'd have to go look up to see what it does.
No, she doesn't want that. So.
Leva, space dust.
Oh yeah, you were gonna do
Yes.
alchemical research on that stuff.
Yes.
Okay.
So she's going to look at that. What does she find out?
It's perfectly ordinary grit and dust and stone.
So like iron oxide or
So
anything.
she calls, especially Braxon and Lafdul because he asked for it, and tells them both it's just normal dust. And then she hands the whole packet off to Braxon.
Well, he will need to get some crew members to wash and clean that. So yeah, that would be appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it has no special properties that alchemy could reveal.
Okay. Well, hang
Unless
on.
you have a spell that needs dust.
Hang on. Yeah. Are there any spells or magic items that require you to have dust from a place?
That also costs 50 gold pieces in reagents from your alchemical stuff. So just that's what it costs.
If it was just dust, I mean, you can just collect it. When the cleaning day comes up, you collect all the dust that was that accumulated.
Do I owe Lever another 50 gold pieces? Yeah.
I'll
No.
pay half of it, and you pay half.
Why?
No, we were the ones who inquired about this. So.
No, it's okay.
I mean, she was curious
She
about
will
it
be
too.
back.
So.
Yeah.
Be honest.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
She'll be back for a favor from you and Lafdul
Wow,
maybe
I'd
one
rather
day.
pay the
It's
gold.
just
300.
no, too late.
Yeah, but like I said, are there not any magic spells that can be done with dust? Mind you, I suppose if you use it to teleport somewhere, you teleport to the asteroid ring, which might not be.
You might want to keep it and maybe offer it to Solas, but Leva doesn't want it. Definitely not. If she wants just normal dust and grit and gravel, she will go and
Sweep
bend
it
down in some odd random place and collect it. You know, from
Well,
the ground.
okay. Well, Braxton will check to see if Solas wants any of it. Otherwise, he'll chuck it away.
Alright.
Hmm.
Put it in the gravity plane before we land.
Okay. So, you approach the planet Orvan. It is a B-sized rock, irregular piece of rock. And as you are approaching, it's pretty obvious where you go. There is clearly a clearing with, or a cleared area with agricultural fields, and a city nearby. And you can see the asteroid ship also landing ahead of you in a cleared
And it's
flat field.
It's an Earth body.
Yes. Yeah. And you can also see in orbit at least a dozen other rocky asteroids that, having witnessed one of these up close, you can tell are ships. At least a dozen. Possibly more, because there could be others hiding behind other asteroids. I should also mention, as you were approaching this one, you could see that the asteroid belt so far is a mixture of rocky asteroids that are clearly inhabitable. You would say about 38% of them clearly have vegetation and stuff like that. Of the ones that are large enough to be suitable for living on. Some of these rocks are like the size of a ship or a house. And basically worthless. And some are even smaller and stuff like that. These are I'm talking just the ones that are clearly large enough to sustain at least a small population.
Yeah.
The rest tend to be rocky, pitted, cratered, broken in various ways, just stones of a variety of colors. Some of them are dark, some of them are light. I don't think any of you really know much about rocks, as opposed to Lafdul, who knows about gems. So you can't say much about those. Although the some of your dwarves every time might mention as you pass one, like, oh, that would be a good place to mine, kind of thing. But you don't know much about what they consist of other than what they're saying. And clearly some of these rocks would be suitable for turning into dwarven citadel ships and stuff like that. The planetoid of Orvan, however, as you're approaching it, there is something very unusual about it. And I'm going to have Finn give me an intelligence check, please.
Okay.
With Finn's doing it, it's shaped like the head of a bear or something.
And my score is exactly 11.
Okay. That's good. Exactly 11 means that you can tell exactly what this is. This is a chunk of a planet, a much larger planet.
Ooh.
Because you can see that this piece of this rocky asteroid, Orvan, it's size B, so it's significantly larger than Brawl, but also not even like 100 miles long. It's like smooth on the side that has, or like quote unquote smooth, comparatively smooth, on the side that has jungle and stuff like that, and really craggy and rocky on the underside. Although plants have clearly started to, grow there. It's just that it's more rocky, so there isn't as much that for these plants to get into However, it's also pretty clear that this is something that took place a very long time ago. So the underside is more like, you'd have Bear Mountain that has, over centuries started to gain some plant growth, but it clearly was never part of like that natural environment that would generate on the surface of a world, and it's just changed over time from this. But it is clearly a piece of a larger planet, and knowing that, you can guess that the majority of these asteroids were once a planet themselves. So you would come to the conclusion that this asteroid belt was a planet of some size, you're not sure exactly what, that shattered, broke apart, exploded, something like that. Who knows what happened to it, but something happened to it.
Okay, Finn will share that with the others.
That's very interesting, Finn. Can you estimate how big it is from the curvature of the outside? Braxon's gonna...
No.
Aside from bigger? No.
Yeah.
Right.
None of us are
Braxon's
specialists
gonna
in that field.
get his spyglass out, and anyone else that's interested can look. Get Finn to point out which is the outside and which is the inside.
I mean, if this
Once
is,
Finn describes it, it's pretty obvious that the jungle-covered side was the surface of a planet, and the underside was the interior of a planet, and it just got ejected out, kind of thing.
Right.
But some sort of catastrophe affected this sphere a long time ago.
yeah.
Braxton says, I wonder if I wonder what the gravity's like. Whether it's retained down when it broke up.
It pretty clearly has a gravity plane.
Right.
Based on the way the plants are growing, Finn can easily point out that it has a gravity plane. You're not getting a great view of the underside as you're coming in because you're landing on what is essentially the top side.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, but it is what is left is clearly a jungle. There's dense vegetation outside of the areas that have been turned into agricultural areas.
Braxton says to Finn, "Say, does your god have any super powerful magic for repairing planets that get broken like this?"
Thing I've heard of.
Okay. So you follow the other rocky ship down, and as you are approaching the surface after the grav ship has landed, you are directed to a place that was clearly somewhat hastily constructed without great knowledge of your ship.
Yeah.
It was clearly designed to just hold something other than their giant rocky ships.
Do we have to communicate with them about where they need to put props and stuff?
Not exactly. There's like 24 of these small figures rushing around to move things into place as you're landing. And it's a bit of a rough landing, hard landing, but it seems stable and safe once you're down. And they bring over a wooden stair platform to reach up to your main open deck.
I just realised does everything turn upside down? And
yeah, you would have gotten that taken care of coming down,
including our prisoners.
Yes. Yes.
Rotate the ship around, can we?
No, you see, the two bottom decks are upside down.
Mm-hmm.
So when we land on a planet with a ship that normally has reverse gravity, they get normal gravity. That means
Oh, that's annoying for me.
Yeah.
The gravity of the planet overrides the gravity of our ship.
Yes.
That means my safe just hits the ceiling, goes through the roof.
No, it doesn't, because everything is secured appropriately because you know that this is something that can happen.
Yeah, your safe will be on the ceiling now.
It's belted in. It's just upside down.
Hope you don't need
Actually,
anything.
no. You know what? Let me revise this a bit. Because given that this planet that you're landing on is a planet with a gravity plane,
Yeah.
they'd be bringing you in on the edge, so that's not going to apply.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, that makes a lot more sense. Yeah, they totally do that, and they totally would suggest that.
All right. Now their rocky ships still land on flat surfaces rather than come in and dock. So this dock structure is clearly hastily constructed.
It's a shame. I was wondering how Lafdul would figure out how to go to bed with his bed on the ceiling.
You would generally just like string up hammocks and stuff like that.
Yeah, I know.
All right. So once everything is secure, some grav come out to meet you.
Mm-hmm.
And another one, and you're noticing again this distinction between the ones who speak to you. They are a little bit thinner, and when I say a little bit, I mean it's like it's noticeable but not substantial.
Okay.
And they wear nicer clothes that still look like miners' outfits, just made with nicer cloth and everything like that. Clearly, they're not designed for actually doing the work, but they're still the same style of clothing.
Braxon.
Hold on. The miner outfits are clearly thick enough to be like protective and stuff like that. So they function very much as good leather armor, at least. And as you are, everything is secured. One of these more well-dressed grav comes aboard, greets you, and says, "Please, if you would follow me, I will conduct you to our Bernard von Darkovdan." And he's indicating the grav city up the way. And you'll be traveling over what is essentially a rough road, like a hastily made road, leading up to that. Obviously, they don't use this. They made it specifically because they knew that you were coming.
Was Bernov a place or a person?
You're unsure.
Okay. Well, Braxon will ask.
Yes, that is our ruler. The Bernard is his title. His name is von Darkovdan. I'll write that in for you.
Thank you. Braxon's gonna not have a ton of weapons on him, but as well as smartening himself up, he's gonna get his nicest carpentry tools and make sure he's got some tools in his belt. He figures if he's got some tools on him, even if they're the wrong sort of tools, that he might get more respect from the grav.
All right. So you don't know exactly what the title means. It's just obviously a title.
Yeah.
You can reasonably conclude that this is some sort of leader.
Expedition leader, probably.
I'm sorry?
Probably some kind of expedition leader. Actually, no, they've been here for a few centuries, haven't they?
They have, yeah. So you head up this road towards a city. Anyone else making any special preparations to go? Or is there anyone who's staying who wants to stay back?
Leva will come with. She's curious.
I'm going with. I'm always up for new experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Finn's going.
All right. Ockar?
Yeah, I'm gonna go along.
All right. Okay.
I'll probably be going light without my armor. Just
Okay.
without most of my equipment, actually. Just like personal defense weapon.
Mm.
Since we are meeting a leader, I don't know.
All right, so you follow him up to what is a town or city of some sort. You guess that there's some portions of it that are below the surface as well. There is coming up from the gravity plane. There is a considerable rise. At the closest edge, you have to take some stairs up to get to the actual surface from the gravity plane. But they've done their best to make it as easy for you, although the stairs are clearly designed for people shorter than you. So they feel a little bit, short. Like you're taking these stairs, and you feel like you could step up higher than they're designed for.
Yeah, but then aren't the stairs also fairly long?
Uh,
The feet kind of look like elephant feet.
they're not super long, but they're not short either.
Yeah. What I mean is, if we tried to do 2 stairs at a time, we'd have to walk like John Cleese.
Yeah, it would be uncomfortable. So you make your way up to the city, and it is clearly a crowded city. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of these short individuals moving about. You see carts of stone everywhere. You see no draft animals. In fact, as you're moving, you notice that some of these carts are moving, and they're floating. Like they don't have wheels; they float around. But when they're not moving, they're at rest on the ground.
Braxon's going to look under a couple of them.
It reminds me of the float spell that I've seen around Faerun.
There's nothing underneath them as far as you can tell. They just...
Yeah.
Commenting on something?
Yeah.
Braxon just put up a comment saying that he put 10 low-value coins in the magic money bag. Why are you putting in low value? Because if you just start with gold, then there'll be platinum next time.
I thought we were getting rid of all the green currency.
I know, but if we're away for like 10 days, they can't keep increasing.
We can take it with. It's not that big.
Could do, I suppose.
We're not going to be away for that long.
Okay.
I mean, I expect this to be a meeting
All right,
and we go back to a ship.
Braxon will take a small bag of money we're trying to get rid of and the magic money bag.
Okay.
Just in case.
We could just spend it, money we're trying to get rid of.
We could do.
So, like, when I describe them as, like, elephant feet, it's not just, like, that perfectly round. They definitely have visible toes. They're just very, very short toes.
Yeah.
They don't wear shoes.
No, they don't. They don't.
I was just trying to get an idea of the way they walk.
Yeah.
Rather than their height.
Yeah.
They kind of look to me like they sort of wobble from side to side.
They don't, despite what you might think that they would look like. They don't. They're pretty agile. Obviously, they have a very short stride, so they're not able to move as fast or as far as you. But you're pretty sure that one of them could keep up with Higamus.
Right. So they're quite graceful, despite their size.
I wouldn't say that they're graceful. They just don't appear clumsy. It feels very natural and normal the way that they move. It doesn't feel graceful, but it doesn't feel clumsy.
Mm-hmm.
They're very middle of the road there. You can see a few shops. There are some quite a few shops that are selling tools and equipment, clothing. Obviously, none of this stuff is like appropriate for your use.
Are the signs readable?
No,
universal,
they're readable
like,
to
picture
Braxon
clothes?
if he's trying to use his ring.
Oh, right.
But
Okay,
most of
yeah.
the signs do have symbols on them, like picture symbols.
Like
Yeah,
sword,
Braxton.
shield, hammer, something
Braxton,
in bed,
Braxton try and read some stuff out.
feed.
Can Braxton tell Lafdul's interested in the signs?
No, I was just curious to see what language it was. Also,
Yeah,
It's
I know.
clearly their own language.
yeah,
Are
because they
you-
were speaking to us in common, but I wasn't sure if common
I
was their
understand it.
native thing.
What I'm getting at is, are you saying this to yourself in your head?
Yes.
Right. Okay.
So you can hear them, these individuals speaking to each other, and it is a language none of you have heard before.
Yeah.
Doesn't sound like anything that you've heard before.
Braxton's gonna look round at some of the others that are near him. I don't know who's near him.
Well, you're being
These
guided
guys.
up.
Yeah. I mean the other people from our group.
Okay. The language itself sounds like it almost sounds squashed.
Language sounds squashed.
Yeah, like
Cut.
the values, the sounds should be a bit fuller, but they feel squashed. It's a weird
Yeah.
sensation to you.
Those
This is like
floating,
Scottish.
those floating things they use for carrying things. Are there any of them going up and down the stairs?
They don't. Not the stairs that you came up to get to the surface level. There was
Right.
no one else around there. This is when you get to the city itself.
Yeah.
Okay. And outside of the city were clearly, like there's clearly two kind of sections of the city. There's the city proper, which is clearly, like the buildings are extremely sturdy, thick, heavy walls, low doors. Like even the shortest member of your party would need to actively duck down at the waist to get into these buildings, and probably hunch over inside them.
Yeah.
But outside of those buildings, there are a wide variety of hastily constructed buildings. They're still sturdy, but there's clearly a temporary feel to them. Like they're expecting to be able to take them down, hopefully any time now. But they're also still, they don't feel unsafe, despite
Does
that.
it look like that's for the refugees who've come in?
That's a reasonable guess, yeah.
Yeah. Braxton's gonna nudge Ockar because he's been looking around for someone to talk to for a while, and say, "Do you think those floating things would be something to buy treasure on?"
Ockar?
I guess he didn't hear.
He might be too mesmerized by what's going on.
Yeah,
But if
he
you would
is.
say that loud enough for the Grav leading you to hear it, would you have done so?
Yeah. Braxton talked to the Grav leader. Those floating things that you carry things on, they look very useful.
Oh yes, they are quite useful. I do not think you would get much use out of them, however.
Oh, really?
Kind of cocks his head at you for a second as if he expects you to know what he means, and then realizes that you don't, and he stops your group and says, "Here, let me give you a demonstration."
Oh, please do.
And you feel yourself getting lighter. He's
Ooh.
clearly focusing and concentrating on you.
Lafdul caresses to himself. He's like, yeah, this reminds me of Drow. Their ability to float.
That's interesting.
Are you going to ask him to stop, or are you going to keep
No.
letting him do this? Because you feel yourself getting lighter.
So
Leva asks him how he does that. Or
Well,
does she know?
most of you can't tell anything. Like, unless Braxon is saying something.
So
Are you?
basically, every one of those things is being carried around by one of you.
I will show
Right.
you. Just wait a few moments, and you will understand.
Okay.
And he's still concentrating on you. Like the rest of you can tell that he's like focusing on Braxon, and he's saying this to Braxon. But unless Braxon is saying something about what he's feeling, what sensation
Right.
he's going through, none of you will know exactly what's happening, other than this grav is doing something to Braxon, and Braxon has not given any indication that it hurts or anything like that, so he's not resisting it.
Braxton's gonna try lifting his feet up a little bit, see if it lifts off the ground.
Just wait a moment. And you still feel yourself getting lighter.
Leo asks Braxon, what's he doing today? To you?
I think he's making me float.
After about 4 minutes, you do feel yourself so light that you do just kind of begin to float slowly up in the air.
Yeah, it's been a while, but Braxton's going to try to cross his legs like you would do sitting on the floor. He's not done it for years, so...
It causes you to slowly tumble in the air. And it's very much like when you go overboard, and once you've stabilized in the gravity field, it feels very much like that. Because once you've stabilized in the gravity field, there's nothing pulling you in either direction because it's completely equal, and you feel completely weightless. And that is exactly what it feels like.
Fascinating.
Well, Leo is curious. She will ask the graph what he's done. What are you doing?
So,
Can we learn it?
as you're asking that, Braxon, you feel a nudge, and you begin moving and spinning slowly. The grav gets... he was starting to look to you and beginning to answer you, Leva, when he sees Braxon move in this weird way, and he goes, huh! Shocked by that, and you feel all of your weight come back instantly, Braxon, and you drop just like a foot to the ground. It doesn't really hurt, but it is a surprise. And Cannibal, thank you for the 5 gift subs. Really do appreciate that. So the Grav is completely surprised by what just happened. And Braxton, like you dropping that didn't hurt, but it was like a oof, and the air is kind of knocked out of you.
Braxton's gonna laugh.
And the Grav says, "What was it? Was that you? I have never seen anyone do that before." He's completely shocked. He's completely forgotten Leva's question, and he's asking you that, Braxton.
I just brought up my legs to sit down on the floor.
That should not have happened.
Well, it was a lot of fun and very instructive. Thank you very much.
So Leva asks a question again.
Yes. It is just a gift from our god. We are all able to do this.
Very interesting. Maybe they use series helms in their ships that use this ability to move the ships.
That's something that their ships can do.
Well, their ships, the ship we came here with was too big for a major helm, so it must be a specialist.
I have never piloted one of our ships before. I do not have that ability, so I do not know what actually makes them work. I do know that it is a further gift of our god that helps us do so.
Sounds very interesting. Anyway, I've I've held you up long enough with my experiment.
Are you sure you're okay? I have never seen someone move that way. Is that... It... Suddenly, his eyes widen. Yes, you truly are sent by the god, if that is a power. Indeed. I will be sure to inform the Bernard that you have amazing powers. Come quickly. And he turns back and moves you on at a bit of a faster pace than you were at before. He seems eager to get you to their leader.
Well, Braxon says, well, I asked my deity Ptah to guide us here. So I don't know if maybe Ptah's got a deal going with your deity.
I mean, you would think that Ptah is their deity, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You've clearly indicated that before.
Yeah, you believe all deities are Ptah.
No, not all. No, not
yes,
all deities.
You do.
No.
Pretty much.
No, the main deity is Ptah.
No. The way that you've worded it is that you think every deity is Ptah.
No, you see, no. When it comes to Ockar's deity, it's like, is Ockar's deity the head of the pantheon? Because Braxton's aware there's more than one deity, and he knows that Lafdul's deity isn't the most important elven deity. So he's aware that Lafdul's deity isn't Ptah. Corellian's Ptah is Ptah, or an avatar of Ptah.
Okay.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
So, you are led at this quicker pace up to the center of, well, not really the center. It's kind of the center of the town, but it's clearly a fortress. You see crenellations, arrow slits, but they're different than what you would expect. They're a bit wider, and there's a lot more emphasis on a horizontal line. Like a lot of arrow slits that you've seen are either straight vertical, or there's a straight vertical with a small horizontal portion of it. This is more like a wide horizontal and a short vertical. And they're definitely wider than you would have expected from other arrow slits. But this is clearly a fortress designed to withstand attacks. Although, Ockar, in your opinion, you feel like a lot of it is more almost custom as opposed to practical. Like, it's built this way because they always build it this way, as opposed to build it this way because these are definitely things that, you need to have this here to protect against that kind of thing. Because there's definitely some things you're like, I would not have put a tower there. That's a bad idea, or not a great idea kind of thing. Just from your point of view.
I stroked my beard as I look at this, a bit concerned.
It's not bad. I shouldn't have said it that way. It's just like more... Like, that's an odd choice. It's not as effective or as efficient as if you'd done it a little bit different kind of thing.
And instead of concerned, curious and slightly confused.
Yeah, okay. So you are led up to the gates of this fortress, and the doors are quite a bit larger than these creatures, so you do not need to duck to get in, and they do stand open as you arrive. However, there are a significant number of guards standing around them, again, with weapons designed, that are clearly modeled off of mining tools. They have hammers, picks, and thick bladed shovels that kind of act as axes.
Yeah.
and you are led into this structure. And again, entering this Ockar, the walls are way thicker than you would expect, and way thicker than they really need to be. That said, that does mean that they would be even harder to take down with siege engines. But you were led into a large chamber. Inside this chamber, it feels, despite its size, it feels heavy and close. It's not extremely brightly lit. It's lit with kind of smoky torches and stuff like that. But there's also more valuable cloth covering the seats and stuff like that, and wall hangings and things of that nature. And there are clearly, elite figures about the chamber. They're, other than the guards standing at the various doorways, everyone is dressed in higher quality cloth and things like that, other than an occasional individual who comes in, again, wearing miner's clothes, but they're clean, but also plain, and you kind of quickly realize that these would be servants of some sort. Carrying in food and drink or running errands, that kind of thing. There's talking amongst little groups, but as your group is led in, everyone goes quiet. And you are led to a figure sitting on a raised platform on a very heavy throne. It's nicely carved, but not like richly decorated. If this were a human, you would probably expect a lot more embellishments on this throne than it has, but nonetheless, this figure is clearly the most important one in the room. And of course, this chair is very squashed and stumpy compared to what you would expect, given both their height and the general construction style. For these individuals, this room is clearly a high-ceilinged room, but Higamus would probably have been able to reach up and touch the ceiling. Maybe if he pushed himself up on his toes a little bit. So it's considerably lower than you would expect, given its importance. But that also seems kind of within the vein of these people. Everything seems squashed compared to the proportions that you expect, even from dwarves. You were led in... sorry?
I said, okay.
Yeah. You were led in, and the individual who met you at the docks, you also see the captain of the vessel that you saw standing in the back. But the individual who has guided you up here gives a deep bow to the figure in the seat, and once he straightens himself up, he says, "I bring to you those who have been... that our god has informed us would come. This is the company of the Broken Sword." And he quickly introduces you, and you're a little surprised that given the differences in your names, he's able to get each one of you correct.
Braxon's going to bow when he says Braxon's name.
All right. But he is able to repeat your names back, so you'd guess that this guy has some sort of practice with introductions or something like that. Once he's done introducing you, he turns to you and says, "I present you to our Burna, Vandar Kovdan." At that, the figure on the seat stands up and greets you and says, "I welcome you to my fief. As was told to us by our god, you have arrived, and we are greatly appreciative of the service that you will provide." Lafdul, it would depend entirely on the power.
How exactly did your god say that we would help you?
He did not reveal those details to us, but we have some knowledge of what that may entail.
Okay, because we can't stay for overly too long because we do have crew that we need to take home. That have been with us for like several months, almost a year now.
I understand that, but you must understand that we are facing a grave threat. That is a threat to you as well.
Yes.
And
Right.
you are here in service to our god, so we know that you will provide such service.
We'll help how we can, as long as you're able to help us in return.
Braxon's
Indeed,
gonna
we
say-
will. We will be more than happy to supply you for your trip.
Thank you.
Braxon's going to say to, well, he'll have a quick look at Ockar, and he'll say to Vondar, and he's going to say, we were thrown far away from our home sphere, Your Excellency, and I prayed long and hard to my god, the mighty Patar, to send me a sign that would help us get home. And when we arrived here, your good captain there arrived. So I do wonder if our god and your god may be the same god by different names. And if that's so, then my god wants me to help you in your troubles.
If your god wants you to help us, then it seems appropriate that you would do so.
Yes.
As I mentioned, we have some idea of what you may be able to do to help us. I have already spoken with Norav, who you met, who was the captain of the vessel that saved yours from the vile Kirir. He says this word that you have no idea exactly. Like, it sounds like just a jumble of letters to you, a jumble of sounds. But you do kind of realize that he must be referring to the spider creatures.
Yes.
But he doesn't give you an opportunity to ask about that. He speaks as if you know. And he continues on and says, there are a great many ruins here, not only on this world, but on the others as well. We are not a warrior people. We have not been able to penetrate these. They are well defended by ancient guardians. However, we believe, based on magical investigations, that the solution to the problem can be found within the ruins. And here you are, a group capable of entering these places, destroying the Guardians where we cannot.
Well, it wouldn't be our first time exploring ancient ruins and facing near death, right, Captain?
Yes. We have done similar things in the past. Braxon says, these guardians, do they look anything like the Kurura?
They do not. They are far older. As you may have realized, the planet you're standing on now was once part of a larger one. We believe it was destroyed, likely through some hubris by the original inhabitants. We know very, very little about them, having been unable to investigate the ruins. But they appear to have destroyed their world here. We are hoping that there may be a piece of that power that we can use to eliminate our foes. Resting within the ruins.
Yes, if there's
you weren't
powerful...
the claimants of this sphere. and they are the invaders. So,
Well,
in
To
my
commit
opinion,
mass
I think we should
genocide.
help.
to a certain extent, you could say the same about us. We came to this sphere ourselves some time back, but found it empty.
If
Well-
there's powerful magic like that, it might just as well destroy your world that you're on as well. So we'd have to be careful about that sort of thing.
Indeed, but that is where the guidance of our god will come into play.
You
Yes.
best hope your god does intervene, because that sounds like a similar story that my people have had happen to them when they split off part of their world. It's part of my island that I came from was torn off. It's dangerous magic, that.
Then you should have some good idea on how to avoid the worst, I would expect. He's saying this in a way that, when you're saying this, it's like he's nodding, and you can clearly see his mind is working as, I see now why my god has sent you to me. You
So
are
how-
exactly what we need.
I wonder,
Lafdul
sir.
is like the furthest from. There's no experience in this.
I wonder, sir, if we might also find an artifact that convinces the Kurura that they don't need to be your enemy. I've already heard from your good captain that you attempted peace, as did we.
They do not believe that we are worthy of equality. And for that, they are a threat not only to us, but to you as well. They will
Yes,
not
yeah.
believe the same of you.
We already
they-
experienced that.
They've already demonstrated that. I wonder if we might discover something that convinces them to be peaceful in the future.
I think our best plan is to convince them that we can destroy them if they do not leave. I believe that is why you have been sent to us.
It could be. It could be. Well, we shall see what the gods have hidden in the ruins.
I will be sending one of my nephews with you. And he beckons forward another figure. To be honest, there's not a whole lot of difference that you can tell between these people other than their clothing. The squashed faces that they all have are very similar to each other. The best that you can do is that some wear beards and others are beardless, and the color of their hair gives it away. But their facial features, to your eyes, are very, very similar.
Do they not have like different ears or something?
They may have some minor differences that they easily can tell the difference of, but
Braxon can't tell.
no. It also doesn't help that you're in a room that is smoky and not exactly bright. Maybe out in the sunlight,
Yeah.
you'll be able to tell. You can tell that this figure stepping forward is a lot younger than the one speaking to you. But he gives a bit of a bow to you. He is beardless. They tend to have brown, earthy skin. Some of them are like, it tends to vary from brownish to grayish tones, but not great variety in that. But his hair is also a kind of like a dirty blonde. And when I say dirty, I mean dirty as if gravel dust was in it. Although it doesn't, like, that's the color as opposed to the texture.
Oh, I see. I was just cursing the fact that we threw away the dust. We could have sold it as hair product.
No, it's a color thing as opposed to a texture or something actually going on with the hair. It's
So
just that...
they literally look like stone.
No, they don't literally look like stone, but they have coloration of stone. Their flesh is definitely thicker and tougher than yours, but it's still clearly flesh. It doesn't look. Their skin doesn't look like stone, but their coloration is much more earthy and stony than yours. And he is again just a hair over 3 feet tall.
Yeah.
He bows to you, and he is introduced by Vondar as, again, his nephew Vordon. So I'll put that in. And his last name as well. There we go. So he is introduced as Vordon, the nephew of the leader of this place. Vondar continues on and says, he knows as much as any of us. He has been learning specifically to assist you once our god made it known to us that those who could assist us would be arriving. It was his task to make himself as knowledgeable as possible about everything that you could want to know for your expedition. You can choose to take some of our warriors with you if you choose, or not. It is up to you. I leave the preparations for the expedition in your hands. And that feels like a very much of a dismissal. With him finishing saying that, Vordon comes over, gives you a slight head bow, and introduces himself once again, holding out his thick hand. And you notice that he only has 3 fingers and a thumb, rather than your 4 fingers. Right. And despite his size, his hand could easily encompass yours and almost feels like it could crush yours if he wanted to.
Yeah, Braxon is shaking.
And he says, I will, if you don't mind, we have a room set aside that we can discuss the preparations for our expedition. There are some rooms in the Citadel if you wish to rest for the night as well. Or you can do so on your ship.
Sounds good.
Let us go and prepare a bit, and then we'll work out if we want to stay in the Citadel or go back to our ship.
Okay.
How many days do we think this might be? This might be like a multi-day thing.
Well, so you go with him to a small conference room type area. There's a thick, low wooden table. All of you feel very, uncomfortable sitting in the chairs that have been brought for you. They're plenty wide enough, but they are low. I think Finn and Ockar in particular, when you sit down in this,
Finn
it almost
probably choose to stand in the corner then.
Yeah, then you could do that.
I'm gonna stand.
Because looking at them, it looks like your knees would almost be up to your chin.
Yeah, I'm gonna stand with Finn.
Already in the room.
Have they got arms on them?
I'm sorry?
They got arms on the chairs.
Yes.
Braxton, have a look, see how strong they are, and if they're strong enough, he's gonna perch on one of the arms.
They're strong, but they're not. It's not comfortable.
Okay.
It's like a dining room chair with arms, but squat, very squat.
Yeah.
And meeting you in the room already, or already in the room, is another Grav, and very similar to Vordon, but with long, kind of dirty coppery colored hair. Very much like the metal copper, as if you got a chunk of copper metal out of the ground. Looks very much that shade. and wearing workman-like robes of midnight blue, and holding a thick wooden staff that's about 4 feet tall. As you enter, Vordon introduces the other Grav. He says, "This is Genva Movan. She is a servant in our family and will accompany me and aid us on our venture. Please, have a seat." So, some of you indicating that you wish to stand. He nods. That is fine.
I think Braxon can sit on a staircase.
But
So
there isn't a staircase in here.
Oh, I know. But what I mean is chairs can't be lower than a step on a staircase, surely.
No, it's not lower. It's just that it's an arm. It's a chair arm. It's considerably thinner than a step.
Yeah. All right. But I mean, the chair itself can't be lower than like 1 foot off the ground, can it?
It still feels uncomfortable. I mean, yeah, if that's fine, you can sit.
Well, I'm thinking he can sort of half cross his legs.
Yeah.
On the chair, so that he can get his legs out of the way.
Okay. I mean, you're not as tall as Ockar or Finn, so.
Yeah, I know. What I mean is, if he sits down that way, would he still be able to see the table?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, he's gonna sit down best.
It's easy for you to see the table because you're so much taller than the Gravs.
Yeah. No, I was just wondering if you'd be too short sitting.
No.
So Braxton's gonna say, we heard from your uncle some talk of expeditions to try to find the artifacts. Are there any survivors from those expeditions that we might be able to talk to?
We have not attempted to investigate these ruins recently. When we first colonized the worlds, we sent some expeditions in to see if they would be easy places to start mines from, but unfortunately, the Guardians were too great. Exactly what they are, we don't know details of, other than they are Guardians of some sort.
So these are people that passed on from old age?
The original ones, yes.
A shame. It would have been good to talk to them and see what their experiences were. Do you have a list of the locations where you found these, where we could make a start?
Our guard has revealed 2 locations where what we need can be found. Exactly what it is we will be finding there, we don't know. That has not been revealed to us.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ruins is here on this world. Unfortunately, the other is on Bavalna.
Ah, no, that'd be tricky.
Over mission. Yes, on. Over.
However, we do not need to worry about that one until we complete this one.
Mm-hmm.
So he gives you some basic details. It'll be pretty easy to get to the ruins in question. The world you're on right now is only 83 miles long. So it's not... it really isn't that far, and they can take you in pretty close in one of their ships.
Oh, so
I'm sorry?
So
we bring camping supplies, so if we are planning this, so to speak.
maybe, yeah. Maybe.
If you bring that up, he would say that would be recommended just in case.
So do they have any written accounts of what went on with the people that made the expedition here?
No, unfortunately, when we determined the danger and the near impossibility for us to handle the situations, we essentially dismissed them as irrelevant. There is plenty of rock unconnected to those ruins that has good metal in it and minerals in it. We had little need for it.
I am curious about your people's forging techniques and how good you are making weapons and armor.
I'm sorry? You're going to ask him about his
Okay.
forging techniques?
Yeah.
He, rather than answering you directly, he stands up and goes over to a cabinet, opens it up, and pulls out a pickaxe. It's clearly not a pickaxe designed for actually working stone. But he brings it over to you and shows it to you, although he doesn't let you actually handle it. He's holding it with some amount of reverence. And he says, "This has been passed down through my family for many generations. And my uncle has given it to me for this, specifically for this expedition. It is one of the best weapons you'll find among our people. We are not known for weapons, but all of our tools, be they weapons or regular tools, are going to be quite sturdy." You can see it's a very finely made weapon, Ockar.
Metals are made out of.
Braxon's going to give out a whistle.
Done. I can see that it was forged with great care.
Steel?
The head is made out of adamantite.
Oh.
Adamantite. Oh, that'll be useful.
Braxon's going to get out his best woodworking tool that he's got in his belt, and he's going to say, "That's a very good tool you've got there." He says, "I've been looking around for excellent tools for myself for some time. Unfortunately, most of the people I've been talking to don't seem to have the same sort of appreciation of tools as your people."
So you're taking this tool out so that he can take a look at it?
Yeah, and Braxton will let him take it if he wants to.
He will
obviously,
look at it as you hold it.
Yeah.
And
Braxton's going to say, my sort of workmanship is different to yours, as in I work with wood rather than stone.
He nods and says, "We do have some woodworkers, and we make tools for them. That is a good tool. You will find tools of its quality easily down in the city."
Is adamantite a common material used by your people? Do you have smiths who specialize in it?
It is not common. It is quite rare.
Never common anywhere.
Yeah, okay. Maybe they've got some good tools for metalworking.
I'll ask you about that later after this. But yes, we're gonna need like camping supplies and all kinds of things to make sure that
We like camping.
we'll be
supplies.
supplied for this ruins exploration. I need some torches for Braxton and I, and
We've got continual light stones.
Yeah,
We're
Braxton's
not level 1.
Braxton's
All right.
got. Braxton's
Yeah,
got-
but what if you enter? What if you enter a dead magic zone?
that.
Wow. I just wanted to throw something at me that I wouldn't expect necessarily.
Braxton's going to ask the question that Ockar didn't.
Yeah, real fast. I just want to point out that just because you can do a thing with magic doesn't necessarily mean you always can or should.
I like having manual solutions to problems when magic can't always be the answer.
Yeah.
Yep. No, that's not. It's not a stupid.
I mean, I've got an oil lantern I carry with me anyway, so.
All right. What was the question that you were going to ask, Braxton?
Well, Ockar wasn't that interested in metalworking, so Braxton's going to ask if they do metalworking and other things.
I was gonna ask about metalworking tools later.
Right. Yeah. He's focused on the thing in question right now, and
Yeah. Well,
Vordon,
Braxton was going to say, will we have an opportunity to look into that sort of thing afterwards?
that is entirely up to you, and if you wish it, we can certainly speak to you about that.
Yes.
Brilliant.
I'll
One
look
thing, if
Yeah, I'll look into it after we figured out what we're after the meeting.
one thing about rules of engagement when we're down there, are there any animals or creatures on this planet that are not Grav that we need to not fight?
Sacred.
That's sacred animals
To
or anything like
religion or faith way.
No, there are no such things. If you need to hunt, you are welcome to hunt. If there are things that attack us, intent on killing us, you are welcome to eliminate them.
Can you describe these guardians of the ruins to us from what your people have experienced?
Not in any detail. The best that we can say is that they were not. What is the word that you would use? Not the returned dead. They are not creatures brought back from the dead to fight.
So they're not undead.
Yes, that is it.
Well, the other thing I would ask is if we find things down there that are not these artifacts that your god needs us to give to you, are we welcome to have any of it?
We may wish to take some for our own people, but if we have no interest in them, and certainly if we wish to take some for ourselves, we will negotiate with you about that.
Okay.
But if there are things that we have no interest in, then absolutely you may have what you wish.
Okay.
We have more than enough metals and minerals, so if you find ancient coinage, things of that nature, you are welcome to that.
So anything that we find, like magical weapons, you'd want first refuse on them.
Basically, yeah, that's kind of what you're gathering is that if you come across something and they're like, that would be really useful for us, then it's negotiation time. If they're like, we don't care, then yeah, you can have it.
Yeah, I take it.
So
And it's he the way that he says it makes it clear that it's not a we have this, you have no say in it. It's a thing of like if we want this and you also really want it, then we'll sit down and figure and we'll hash out something and come to a fair deal. Figure out what's best.
sounds good. Okay.
Okay.
So it is close to time to wrap up, but I kind of want to get to you guys a point where you're comfortable, ready to like actually start out next time, and like go there. So you'll be able to purchase at normal player's handbook prices anything in the player's handbook that you would want for the expedition. He'll bring along some rations and stuff like that, so you don't need to worry about food and water. But if you want water skins or something like that, then yeah, you'd go purchase that.
I'd suggest that we not take any Grav warriors with us, so that they can have people to help defend in case the career or whatever they're called show up and attack the place.
They got thousands. They're not that outnumbered.
Well,
yeah, but they're
not.
Like
they're strong enough that we can handle it without.
It's more responsibility for us anyway if we take more people with us.
Right.
Yeah.
Maybe
I don't
just
want the
take
extra responsibility.
Maybe take a few to just watch the entrance while we're inside.
Maybe maybe a trio or something.
Well, hang on. The other thing the Grav might be useful for is if we find anything valuable that's heavy that we need to remove from the place.
I've got magic for that.
We got magic.
Yeah, but
they could potions and all kinds of stuff.
There is that, yeah. They're good at lifting things and carrying things.
Well, Well, I mean, if you want to station them at the entrance, and then only call them in if you need them,
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
we'll
fine.
call
That's
it
always a good idea.
Yeah, I think that's the best idea. We just take a few and we have them at the entrance.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
said they're not a warrior people, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is like the vast majority of their people are literally like miners and workers.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'm thinking that we just take a few, just leave them at the entrance and not have to worry about them getting hurt or anything by any of the things in there.
Can we
Yep.
gauge what constitutes for a guard and how they... Could you size them up, Ockar or Braxon?
Not actually, like, fighting one?
You
No,
would
just-
estimate that in general they'd be about as skilled as your Herwady.
Yeah,
Oof.
about that.
Yeah, they're literally there for... Wow.
It's not great, but it's workable.
They're there for watch shifts, basically.
Yeah.
So you will be accompanied by Vordon and Genva. If you also, you're also welcome to ask any of the NPCs on your ship to come along. Lenelius, Margoth, Glau, Sunfayun, anyone like that.
Try and take Numeria or no. They really need experience. They're way too low level.
Nor doesn't want to get killed.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, he can't stay as a 4th level NPC forever. He's
All
gonna
right,
be
let
so
me
far behind.
Let me rephrase. It's something for you guys to think about for next time, whether you want to ask them or not.
Yeah.
Again, like they may say no.
Yeah, if they say no, but at some point.
Hey, Ald.
Yep.
Will we be able to replenish spell components here?
Yes, within reason.
Oh, we have to do a spell component thing then. Like, if we were able to get
You did it before you left for the Phlogiston, and
multiple months perishables.
yeah. I don't think you need to do it for this time. You'll need to do it after you get back from this expedition.
Yeah. I don't really
So
have
I'm
any
not gonna
perishable
charge you
rose
for
petals.
this time. After the expedition, if there's specific spell components that you need to purchase, you can. Anything that's manufactured or manufacturable should be fairly readily available. Considering that this is a jungle world and not another type of terrain, some types of herbs and stuff may be difficult to come by. So I'll say you'll have time to stop by an apothecary before going. So just ask me if there's specific stuff you want. If it's not something that you need, like if it's just something that is part of the normal calculation, you're fine and you're good until you get back from this expedition. But yeah, if there's specific stuff that you want, let me know and I will check to see if they have it available.
I
That's good.
Yeah, I can ask after.
Yeah.
And
We need to drop out soon.
Yeah, and same thing with regular equipment. If there's something that you want, if it's in the player's handbook, it should be available here. If it's something a little bit more special, you might have to just check with me. And it is normal player's handbook prices. All right.
Yep.
Any other questions? I think you can either ask me in between sessions or for next week.
Oh, okay. I was going to ask one.
Okay, go ahead.
Do they know of any dangerous creatures or poisonous creatures hanging out in the jungle?
They'd basically kind of be like, sorry, we're miners, we don't go out there much.
Okay.
Jungles are almost always poisonous.
Yeah. You'll have a day to rest and change up your spells. Keep in mind that you are limited to 8 hours of rest, so you probably don't want to try to, you don't want to do a complete changeover of your spells. I'm perfectly fine for those, for the priests to have said that you casted Contact Home Power like a day or two ago. And things like your Lafdul's temporary healing potions, those can all be ready to go. I'll let you figure out the timing on that, how you want to handle that.
For the last like several months, I've just always had that spell reserved. So
Okay, that's fine. All right. So XP wise, we will go ahead and go with 1,000 each, plus an extra 100 for Lafdul's priest, and 100 for Ockar and Braxon.
that makes it fairly easy. It's just 1,100 for both because my thief gets a 10%.
Yep, there you go. All right. So I want to thank you guys for playing. I want to thank everyone out there for watching. When we come back next time, party's heading into some ruins to see if they can find whatever it is that these Gravs hope will be able to save them from these spider creatures.
I was not expecting a dungeon delve anytime soon. Not complaining. It's nice.
See you next time, everyone.
Thanks for having us.
Take
No
care.
Thank you.